Hey everybody, Bullion Bytes again here with another video for you. Today we're going to talk about where to start with silver and gold, getting into precious metals, what my opinion is on what a good place to start at is. These are, I'm going to say, mostly in the order I would recommend. You know, if you alternate one or two of these in the order in which you order stuff, it's not the end of the world. It's your money, do what you want with it. But if I were to restart getting into precious metals again, this is probably where I would start and what I would recommend for anybody new getting into this. First thing would be some type of 90% silver. So I'd recommend starting with something like your 90% quarters. To start, I'd say get $10 face value for those. Face value just means, going out and getting, 40 individual quarters. Fits in a tube, makes things nice and easy to store, easy to manage, easy to keep track of. Next would be, right along with quarters, would be going out and getting some silver dimes. You can get a $5 tube of those. They're going to be a little bit more premium right now because they're so much smaller compared to the quarters. Right now, quarters really seem to be kind of the best bang for your buck in terms of getting into constitutional. All of them right now are a little bit high relative for when I first got into stacking. I think I got some of these for as low as like $12 or $13, some as low as $11 face value. Premiums on silver and gold on physical metals are higher right now than what anybody really wants to see, but part of that is the price of getting the metals versus the price of them on paper is just totally disconnected at the moment. Next one, and these three you could really do in just about any order, would be some type of 90% half dollars. I have a roll of Kennedys here. This is the same whether you wanted to get Walking Liberties or Franklin halves. Personally, I like Franklin halves. I just don't have a completed tube of mine because I have each year and mint in separate guardhouse tubes like this. So these would be some of the first ones. It doesn't have to be exactly these ones. You can get them in kind of a grab bag value if you get like a $25 face amount. That's really the aim here, is to get a little bit of small silver in a variety, couple different sizes for a low premium. And the next one would be something very easily recognizable, something like a government minted coin, something like either a American Silver Eagle here. I'm gonna leave that one on the side. Or something maybe like a, Mexican Libertad. What's another good one here? Or even something like neighbors to the north there, the Canadian Maple Leaf. I would recommend, if you live in the States, either the Eagle, Libertad, or the Maple. Out of three of these right now, the Maples are probably going to be the lowest premium. But what I would recommend for those is get somewhere in the neighborhood of, like a good tube. Tube of American Eagles holds 20 right now. The premium on Eagles are pretty high. Wouldn't necessarily recommend picking up that. But if you, I would say around 10 to 20 of those be a good place to start. In the beginning here, and you're just looking to kind of dip your toes in. After you've gotten to this point, that's when I would say looking into some larger items, and you could do these two in either order. Would be something like a 10-ounce bar, 10-ounce silver bar, and you can go with the generics like this. It's just no name mint. I think this is 10-ounce silver. No mint marks here really, but something where you've got a little bit more weight per unit. I wouldn't really recommend, if you're just jumping into a bar like this, you're tying up a lot more cash, a lot more capital in one particular unit. but you get the trade-off of your cost per ounce goes down compared to things like, Silver Eagles right now that are selling for like $40 a piece. The last one here, and these are, like I said at the beginning, this is just getting into metals, this is just getting started, would be something like some fractional gold at that point. I would leave this one and the silver bars, the 10 ounce or the kilos, the larger bars, until your smaller denominations are kind of established. And the reason for that is the larger items, the more costly items like your fractional gold here and your bars, you're locking a lot of capital into one thing, and if the price of metals changes not in your favor at the time and you're forced to kind of sell, or you come into a time where you've got to get some cash, because that's the point of this, is be able to preserve your wealth until when you're going to need it, or you're going to convert your metals back into either cash or convert them into some other hard asset. You want that to be at a time that is convenient for you, where you're ready to make that opportunity, that transition. Classic example, and this is one of the main reasons I got into precious metals, was let's say you're trying to buy a house, you need money for a down payment, and you may not be a natural saver, you might be more of a natural spender, and I tend to fall towards spending more than savings. Being able to put something like $250 a week or a month into something like these Scottsdale stackers, shout out again to AG Stacking for those, makes setting a couple of bucks aside every couple of weeks, every month or so, to where before you know it, you've got an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in metals just sitting around that is money that you would have spent on other dumb crap that you didn't really need. But now when it comes time to see a downturn in the real estate market, like hopefully we're going to see in the coming months for everyone trying to buy, and people get forced to sell their real estate, usually, not always, but usually when the economy turns down, metals happen to go the other way. And what you spent on silver at the time, you would hope to have at least preserved your wealth and potentially grown your wealth quite a bit from where you initially purchased those items at. That's part of what I got into stacking metals for, was being able to turn that cash I would have spent on pointless stuff into a good down payment, or a good overpayment on a mortgage in the future, where it's financially and economically convenient to do so. Mainly silver, gold, assets like this really meant, as I've said before, to protect you and kind of insulate your money from inconveniences and fluctuations in the economy. And that's really where you're targeting with these assets that we have here in front of us. Will a single tube of 90% quarters save you in the end of the world? Probably not. But if in my particular case, if I paid $11 for 4 quarters, and now I'm getting, you can take them to a coin shop and sell them for $22 at face value, that's on constitutional, that's an instant doubling of my money, and not a very long period of time here. Now if you were to do that at scale, it's not really going to happen, but this is something that as you're setting money aside and you're kind of becoming financially disciplined, this is a good way to get started in the metals without committing a whole bunch of capital into it. Right in front of you, I've probably got not quite $2,000 in metals sitting here, and this was not all purchased at one time. This is over quite a range of time. I bought some of these when I was still in school, got the Eagles when I was still in school, but got this bar, this bad boy, a couple months back, or I should say a couple days back. I got this one probably back in 2019, and I got this one for spot. It was a really good deal. I had some cash set aside, and you gotta follow those guys on Instagram that are well known, and they've got good deals. That's where a lot of this stuff has come from. That's it for this video, guys. If you got any questions, let me know, and I will catch you on the next one.